GR IAS Academy.
Hello everyone, welcome to GR IAS Academy. Today we are on the day 6 of Mission Surya Programme. It is a 100-day prelims marathon program in which we will be covering 100 important themes from current affairs for prelims 2026. So let's see the first topic for today. So today's first topic is right to remember. Right to remember is an academic concept that talks about remembering and preserving traditional sensory based repair skills. So let's understand the context here. With the increase of the usage of the electronic devices, there are increased concerns regarding e-waste generation. And also, there are increased allegations on the equipment manufacturers or the companies that they are focusing on the replacement instead of repair. So how are they doing that? They are restricting the availability of spare parts. So companies are restricting the availability of spare parts and repair manuals. So if we have any issue with our device, we need to visit that particular company's authorized service center in order to get it repaired, which is both time consuming and also expensive. So but India has traditionally had a strong repair culture. There were specific areas dedicated to the informal technicians like Delhi's Karol Bagh or Chennai's Ritchie Street. But because of this, the traditional informal technicians and their skills are disappearing. So in order to protect the informal technicians and their skills, we have come up with this concept of right to remember. So this is all about this concept, and a similar concept called right to repair is also related to this context. Right to repair is not a legal right in India yet, but if it is made a legal right, companies will be mandated to make these available to the public openly. So this is all about it. Let's see the next topic. That is Repairability Index. So Repairability Index is related to mobile and electronic sector. This proposal of Repairability Index was made by Department of Consumer Affairs under Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. So this proposal was made by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs. So what is it all about? According to the proposal, the original equipment manufacturers have to self-declare the repairability index on their devices. That is, they have to convey to the consumers that how easily their devices can be repaired in case there is an issue. So this repairability index is based on 4 criteria. That is, availability and pricing of the spare parts, access to the repair documentation, cost and time of repairs, and the software support. So remember, this proposal of repairability index was brought by the Ministry of Consumer Affairs because the consumer interests are involved here. It is not by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. It is by the Consumer Affairs Ministry. So let's see the next topic. Hydrogen fuel cell. Before this, let's understand the basic functioning of any fuel cell. So what is a fuel cell? It is an electrochemical device that produces electricity from chemical energy. So any fuel cell has an anode and a cathode. Chemical reactions would be happening at the anode end and the cathode end. Input fuel is given at the anode end. A chemical reaction happens and electrons are released at the anode end. And the electrons released at the anode end will be used up by the reaction happening at the cathode end. But between the anode and cathode, there is an electrolyte. This electrolyte blocks the flow of electrons but allows flow of some other ions. as the flow of electrons is blocked here, they are forced to travel through an external circuit. So when these electrons are forced to travel through an external electric circuit, electric energy is produced, that is used or stored. So this is the basic functioning of a fuel cell. Fuel is sent at the anode end, air or oxygen is sent at the cathode end. General fuels that we use as an input to the fuel cell are hydrogen, which is a frequent one, or methane or natural gas, methanol or ethanol. If we use hydrogen as the input in the fuel cell, we will get just steam as the output, water as the output. So these are the certain characteristics of fuel cell, that is fuel cells are relatively cleaner because unlike internal combustion engines where combustion or the burning of the fuel is happening, they release carbon emissions. But here, as there is no burning of the fuel, there are no harmful emissions released. This is cleaner and this is also efficient because there is no heat loss present in this equipment. So let's see few details about hydrogen fuel cell. This is the hydrogen fuel cell. Hydrogen is taken as the input at the anode end. Electrons are released and those electrons are forced to travel through the external circuit. So hydrogen fuel cells are clean, reliable, quiet and efficient source of high quality electric power. Here hydrogen is used as the fuel and oxidant or oxygen is sent at the cathode end, and just water and heat are the byproducts in the hydrogen fuel cell. So that is it about hydrogen fuel cells. Let's see the next topic for today. So types of hydrogen. There are different types of hydrogen. Hydrogens are basically color coded depending on their production type and the associated carbon emissions. So these are different types of hydrogen. Let's see them in a little detailed way. So first we have black or brown hydrogen. Black or brown, sorry. Black or brown hydrogen. Then we have grey. Then there is blue hydrogen. Then there is turquoise hydrogen. And there is pink and green hydrogen. So here in the black or brown hydrogen, hydrogen is produced by the process of coal gasification. Coal is taken as the source of carbon and steam is used to produce hydrogen. Whereas in the case of grey hydrogen, hydrogen is produced by the methane reformation. Methane or the natural gas CH4 is reacted with the steam to produce CO plus H2. So these are the products in these reactions. Also remember, the CO plus H2 mixture is called as syngas or synthesis gas. It is used as a feedstock for various chemical reactions, chemical processes. So it is called as synthesis gas. In both these reactions, it doesn't end here. The carbon monoxide formed again reacts with steam and produces carbon dioxide and hydrogen. So if in these reactions, if the produced carbon dioxide is captured and stored or utilized for other purposes, in that case the produced hydrogen is called as blue hydrogen. So these are the three color coded ones, and next one is the turquoise hydrogen. So in this case, hydrogen is produced by the pyrolysis of methane. So we take the methane gas and it is subjected to the high temperature, that is pyrolysis, and it gets split into carbon and hydrogen. So here solid carbon is the byproduct which can be easily stored. So there are no harmful emissions released here in this process. And the hydrogen produced by this process is color coded as turquoise. And the pink and green hydrogens. Here hydrogen can also be produced by the electrolysis of water. So if we take water and send some energy, water gets splits into hydrogen plus oxygen. So if we use nuclear energy here, then the hydrogen we get, that is color coded as pink hydrogen. If we use any other renewable energy in the electrolysis process, the hydrogen produced will be called as green hydrogen. So these are the different color coded hydrogens and the way in which hydrogen is produced. So I hope this is clear. So this is it. Here we have shortly given different color codes of hydrogen and the processes, like the brown or black hydrogen is produced by coal gasification, grey by methane reformation and so on. And these are the sources used for the hydrogen production. And also remember, when we said electrolysis, we either get pink hydrogen or the green hydrogen, and also hydrogen produced by biomass gasification is also called as green hydrogen. That is it. This is about different colors, color coded hydrogens. So let's move on to the next topic, that is ethanol blending. Ethanol blending is nothing but mixing the bioethanol with the petrol. Why is it done? It is basically done to reduce the dependence on fossil fuels and also to reduce the carbon emissions from the fuel. In India, ethanol is primarily produced from the plant-based sources, that is the sugarcane molasses, maize and rice. All these have high starch content. So ethanol is produced from the plant-based sources having high starch content. So as per Biofuel Policy 2018, we have achieved ethanol blending target of E20. That is, now the fuel which we use have 20% of ethanol by volume and 80% of petrol. And we have planned to reach E30, that is 30% ethanol and 70% petrol by the year 2030. So this is all about ethanol blending. Let's see the next topic. So next topic for today is desert soilification. So desert has sand. Sand is generally porous, so it allows the leaching of nutrients and also water. And there is low humus content present in the soil. As there is low organic matter, there is less microbial activity and the desert soil is very less fertile. And the roots cannot be held properly in the desert soil. But if you have to cultivate crops in the desert, we have to convert this sand into soil-like properties. That process is called as desert soilification. So desert soilification is a biotechnological method in which barren desert sand will be converted into soil-like material, which would be capable for plant cultivation. So how is it done? We actually need humus or the organic matter for cultivation. But here in the soilification process, we use an artificial humus, the polymer. So we use some kinds of polymers here and they act as artificial humus. So they bind water, they allow the slow release of water and nutrients into the soil. That way it supports the crop cultivation. This is done by 2-layer and 3-layer methods where soil is layered with polymer. These polymers are biodegradable ones. So they degrade after a few months or years. So soil is layered with those polymers and sand properties are converted into soil. So let's see different polymers used here. We use xanthan gum or the guar gum or carboxymethyl cellulose. So these three polymers are used to make the sand into soil. Recently, some researchers from the Central University of Rajasthan have cultivated wheat in the desert soils of Rajasthan using this technique. So that is all about desert soilification. Let's see the next topic. Next topic is Project Waterworth. So this Project Waterworth is a project of global tech firm Meta. So what is it about? It is an ambitious subsea cable. So in this, submarine optical cables are laid in order to get the high capacity internet connectivity. So a submarine optical cables are laid connecting the 5 continents, North and South America, Africa, Asia and Australia. So connecting these 5 continents, a submarine cable is laid, and this cable is integrated with advanced machine learning tools, so that if in case there is a disruption in the internet connectivity, it is automatically detected. So this is an ambitious project which will lead to reliable internet connectivity. So just remember, the project Waterworth is by the global tech firm Meta. So that is it about it. So let's see the next topic. Next topic is meter convention. Meter convention or the Treaty of Meter was signed in May 1875 in Paris. So the year 2025 has marked 150 years of the meter convention. The meter convention was signed. It was brought for the uniform measurement standards worldwide. So in order to measure time, length, mass and other things, we need uniform standards worldwide. So this meter convention was brought for that purpose. An organization was established under this treaty, that is the International Bureau of Weights and Measures. It coordinates the standard measurements between various countries. And there is also another international organization called as International Organization of Legal Metrology. So this International Organization of Legal Metrology, it was brought to ensure accuracy of the measurements and also to protect the consumer interests. So it basically gives certificates to the measuring instruments. It allows countries to give certificates to the measuring instruments. So recently India has become the 13th country under this organization which is authorized to issue certificates to the measuring instruments. So these are the basic things about this topic. Let's move on to the next topic. Next topic is Bhargavastra. Bhargavastra is an anti-drone missile technology. So it is a missile technology targeting group of drones or drone swarms. So in this, micro missiles or rockets are launched against the drone attacks. So there are 2 layers in this technique, in this missile system. First one is the unguided layer and second one is the guided layer. So this first unguided layer is used to attack multiple drones at once, whereas the guided layer will be used to specifically target certain drones. And this Bhargavastra is developed by Solar Defence and Aerospace Limited. It is a subsidiary of Economic Explosives Limited. So just remember, Bhargavastra is an anti-drone technology in which micro missiles are used. That's it. Whereas it is developed by Solar Defence and Aerospace Limited. Let's quickly move on to the next topic. That is Rudrastra. So Rudrastra is a domestically tested hybrid VTOL drone. It is a VTOL drone. So generally, in order to get long range in the drone, we use a runway. So the drones which use runway can only get the long range. But here in the VTOL technology, VTOL is nothing but vertical takeoff and landing. Rudrastra is a drone made based on the VTOL technology. Here we do not require a runway, but it provides the long range. That is why it's an hybrid one. So no runway is required, provides a long range. So this Rudrastra can be used to deploy in the difficult terrains. It basically improves our defense capabilities. So another use of VTOL technology is seen in some kind of vehicles like eVTOL technology. Electric VTOL is used in vehicles like Airbuses. This is an emerging technology. Air taxis uses the eVTOL technology. So these are basically battery powered, electric motors are used in the eVTOL. And whereas in the hybrid VTOL Rudrastra, we use conventional aviation fuels. So this term Rudrastra is also seen in use for other purpose, like Indian Railways have recently run a trial run of the longest freight train in the Asia. This is also named as Rudrastra. So just use the word based upon the context. That freight train is almost 4.5 kilometers long. So this is all about this topic. Let's move on to the last topic for today. That is Galaxy Space's Mission Drishti. Galaxy Space is an Indian space tech startup. So it has come up with the project Mission Drishti. It is basically an Earth observation satellite. So let's see a few features of this satellite. It is India's largest privately developed satellite. Generally the privately developed satellites are little smaller, so this is the largest among them, weighing 160 kgs. So it's an Earth observation satellite. Here we use high resolution imaging sensors which enables the satellite to capture all weather real time images of the Earth. And another characteristic feature of this satellite is that it is the world's first multi-sensor based Earth observation satellite. So in this, multiple sensors like radar based and optical sensor based technology is used. It is mounted on the satellite in order to get the better imaging of the Earth. So this is about Mission Drishti. It is an Earth observation satellite by Galaxy Space. So that is it for today. So we have planned these sessions to be short and crisp. In order to get the detailed notes regarding these topics, please visit our WhatsApp and Telegram channels. And also, please subscribe to the GR IAS Academy YouTube channel to get the regular updates regarding the Mission Surya program. Thank you.